In this video, we're going to check out the Awesome Oscillator. Stay tuned. Hey traders, a very warm welcome to you. Okay, let's check out the Awesome Oscillator. Pretty much a simple oscillator. It's based around two moving averages. The first one is a 34 period and the second one is a 5 period. And the way it's displayed, and by the way, it's the one down here at the very bottom of the screen on this chart. The way it's displayed is kind of oscillating above and below a zero line as is normal for most of the oscillator group of indicators. The only slight difference you've got here, actually, let's just go back a step, is that the moving average is calculated by high-low divided by 2, so the midpoint of the bar. And what I've done here is I've put a moving average on so we can see exactly that it is what it says it is. So let's just thicken up those lines a touch here. I'll do it with this shorter period here. So you can see as it crosses, as these moving averages cross each other, the Awesome Oscillator crosses into the zero line. So just confirming that's exactly what we're seeing. So pretty kind of simple moving average crossover system, but there's a little bit of different flavor to it. Let's just minimize those so we can see the oscillator. Now, the way you use this Awesome Oscillator is there's three kind of strategies that people employ, or the guy who designed it employed these strategies or recommended that you use these strategies. The first one is you're selling or buying as you cross above or below the zero line. So just much like you do with a moving average crossover strategy, as the moving average crosses over the longer period or the slower one, then you've got a buy signal. So example here, I've got US dollar JPY up on a daily chart, and I've got the Awesome Oscillator. Just check the settings, by the way. There are no settings because, of course, it is just those two moving averages. All you can do is change the color and obviously the way it's displayed. As we cross below the zero line here, you would be going short. As you cross back above the zero line, you'd be going long. So obviously, you know, in this case, you're probably going to be stopped out. In this case, it looks like you've got a nice little bit of mileage here. Same here, a little bit of juice in that trade, a little bit of juice. You get the idea. The point is, it's just an alert. It's just a signal or a filter to say, hey, do you know what? We have potentially turned bullish. Maybe worth a nibble at the long side or the short side. Never really recommend going just flat out just on these signals, but under the right conditions, it's probably not too bad. Anyway, so that's the first kind of strategy that you use with the Awesome Oscillator. The next one, this is a little bit more interesting actually. I quite like this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize the title here so we can see. We all know US dollar JPY on a daily. It could be anything pretty much. I think you can use this on a broad range of markets. All right, let's get a brush tool up and let's see. So the second way of using the Awesome Oscillator is you sell into, on a bearish side, you sell into peaks, if that makes sense. So while the Awesome Oscillator is below zero, so as in, let's look at this as an example here right now. While this is below zero, there's the zero line here. Okay, while the Awesome Oscillator is below zero and the market is lifting up, creating this kind of peak formation here, then you sell into that peak for another downtrend, for another downturn. And that makes sense, doesn't it? Because you think about it, it's basically downtrend, the pullback, and it's giving you kind of a trigger to go short on that pullback. So you'd be going short, you know, around here, which is putting you around here, which in this case is giving you a nice kind of 300 or 400 pip move, whatever that may be. Makes a lot of sense. And the same with the uptrend. Now obviously this wouldn't have triggered because you're not quite above the zero line here, but you want something, for example, this would have triggered. You know, you're above the zero line and you've got that little dip, so we're reversing it for the peak. We're having a dip now, but it's got to be above the zero line. You're buying that and you're looking for the continued move up. That to me makes good sense because you've got the uptrend already. The Awesome Oscillator has confirmed that you've kind of got some bullish strength coming in, some buying strength coming in. The little dip is just a pullback, and then it's just saying, hey, as long as it stays above zero, it's still bullish enough to buy. Now the trigger for that is going to be something like it turning green, or it turning red for the first time here. So in other words, you get the kind of red, and then all of a sudden you get the green. And on that green, on the change of color that's against the trend and back in with the trend, that's your trigger buy. So in this first example we looked at, you're going to see it green, then as soon as it goes red, your trigger buys here. Yes, it did go green again, Whether you come out of that or not, I think it's entirely up to you. I would say use it as a trigger to get into the trade. Manage it on a normal basis, like put your stop above a swing high, target fresh lows, fib extensions, that kind of thing to work out a target. But just use this as a way to kind of judge that pullback entry to get into the trade. So that's the Awesome Oscillator. Couple of different ways to use it. If you think of any more, if you see any more, you know any more, or any more ideas that come up from yourself just by looking at it and thinking, hey, you know what, I could integrate that, I could use that as a kind of way of getting into trades or out of the trades or as a filter, comments below. Always interested to hear what you guys have got to think about these indicators, tools, strategies, etc. Anyway guys, take care, good trading, give it a thumbs up if you liked it. See you in the next one. Bye bye.